Well, hello, everybody. How you doing today? Are you having a good time? I got an aye captain in the chat, maybe. Are you having a fun time? Oh, there's going to be no more singing, at least for now. Green, yes. I'm curious how many people know what the green means. Uber Super Sloth. Thank you for the 37 months. Did you see my thoughts over business ownership? I don't think I did. Were they today? No, I haven't had a chance to read it now. Aye, Captain. Thank you, Philip of the future. I'm glad you came all the way back to our time in order to give some celebrations. I had a fun time at my liberal and inclusive class. Is that a real class? I see no green. That's a very nice beach you got there. Thank you, Frost Hollow. I appreciate it. And for those watching on YouTube who are curious, today's music, we had a 3-for-all. We did 2 songs by Tally Hall, The Ruler of Everything, and Turn the Lights Off. Very good. They're a band that's like 10 years old, but I just discovered them recently, so they're new to me. And then we did They Might Be Giants, Dr. Worm, a favorite of mine to sing from time to time. I just started playing Melodious a couple days ago and the deck is cracked. Good to hear. And for those just wondering in, who didn't read the title of the stream, we will be playing Melodious later. We're doing commentary first. Is that Miami Beach? I don't know. It was like a copyright-free beach video from YouTube. A bit late. I see someone in the blue screen. Not quite the right color, but I like the cut of your jib. What hat are you wearing for Melodious? I think I'm going to keep the top hat, you know. Could be a top hat singer. Although I do need to turn this way. That way when I'm facing towards stuff, you could see the feather. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think for Melodious, some people have told me I should buy a microphone. Maybe I should. I'm kind of wary of like adding more crap to this room, because I feel like the theme for Melodious is just I gotta sing more. Do musical conductors have a hat associated with them? No. Ostinato is better than branded fusion. Should be interesting. The stream is being choppy for me. A problem on my end. Probably. Is there an excuse to buy a better mic? I think I have the best mic that I can get. Without spending like thousands of dollars. I don't know, is my mic quality that bad, chat? The thing is, I use a very different mic. Actually, I wonder if I could get it on camera here to show you. So this is the kind of mic I have. This is called, it's like a shotgun mic. Shotgun mics are usually longer. I've heard some people call this a pencil mic. I think there's another name for it. But the whole idea is that it's very directional. It's very directional, but also it works from far away. Because I wanted a mic, I didn't want to have like a mic stand that's like coming in from out of frame. Wow, where's the frame edge? There we go. I didn't want a mic stand that was just like abruptly cut off by the side of the frame. I didn't want to like be here invisible and then have like a mic standing up from underneath me. I wanted one that was out of frame but could still pick me up without picking up like all of the ambient noise around me. And so I got this one, which is specifically for, like, recording movies indoors. And it's a pretty expensive mic. It's not like $1,000 mic, but it's like a $500 mic or something like that. It's like an XLR that I have to put into, like, a mixer and everything. But I don't know anyone else who uses these mics, so I'm not sure their exact quality. I've been thinking I could get like a lav mic, but I feel like I move around too much for that. Like I need to be able to like spin. Plus I have this irrational fear of like if I have a wireless lav mic hooked on and I'm like, okay, 1 second guys, here I'm gonna pause the stream, I'm gonna go use the restroom, and then I forget to take the lav mic off, and then you just like hear me in the bathroom like a cheap drive-through headset prop. So I'm like, I want to that's just content. It's not the kind of content I want. Like, I want the mic to stay in here and only record me while I'm sitting here. If I get up and go anywhere else, I don't want the mic to record me. But we'll see. I'm still waiting. That's the thing about being a YouTuber, right? Is that, like, I could have shit sound for, like, years and no one would mention a thing. I just have to wait for someone to, like, someone with audio experience to be like, ah, well, the room tone you have there is pretty bad. Have you considered getting this obscure piece of audio equipment that'll fix that up perfectly? And then I'll look into it and be like, thank you for giving me actual advice. I appreciate it. Coconut sugar. Oh, someone remembers. Yeah, it's not great. But coffee gets the job done. Okay. So we're going to jump into this real quick. Is there anyone here who doesn't know what commentary is? Anyone who's not familiar with the Hardleg channel? Not the Hardleg gaming channel. Which I've been thinking maybe I need to rebrand. Because I'm putting out The Legend of Lefty on that channel, which is not a game and barely game related. Maybe I should call it Hardleg Entertainment. Me? Okay. So I have another channel. I often call it the politics channel, but it's for talking about just like real world stuff. History, art, oftentimes politics. In this case, we're going to be talking about economics a whole lot. Ooh, exciting. I mean, obviously economics kind of crosses into politics or whatever. And I have a show on that channel called Commentary, where basically people leave comments, and then I respond to them with commentary. I record this like once every 2 weeks or whatever, so if you're just here for like funny, goofy Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and for whatever reason hearing about like economics just stresses you out, like, head off for now, and when the green screen is gone, then you could safely come back in. It'll probably take like half an hour, 40 minutes to do this one. Hardleg takes weeks to script a response to a YouTube comment posted with 10 seconds. Generally, I try to get comments that seem to have some effort put into them. And usually though, like, even if they're not well written, they're at least trying to make a point, something that I see often. Going to be hard to stress me out with everything going on in the US right now. Well, I mean, that's why people are stressed, and then they don't want any more. So yeah, just letting you know, we're going to be spending the first 30, 40 minutes of stream doing that, and then we'll be going on to Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright. And the chat's here. So if you wanna be participating, I can't touch you. I can't put. Well, I guess I could touch the. If you're on the side, I can give you a little tickle, but I can't go any farther than this. Howdy, Deskbot 101. Okay. One more drink of liquid courage. All right. To start with, though, let's fill up the sidebar with like hello YouTube, with emotes, with like nice beach. Because if you don't know, the green screen gets replaced with a nice, calming beach. I feel like if I'm going to be talking about possibly stressful things, it's best to put it in front of a nice, calming background. Cats in the chat. YouTube. A Farfa follower? Here today, it's more likely than you think. Get some critters in there. Critter, you want to say hi before we begin? Thank you, Critter. Let's get Critter a little bit more. There we go. That beach rocks, yeah. And welcome back to Comment Commentary, the show where I respond to comments I get through commentary. I'm a Hardleg Joe, if you didn't know, and today's comments... Whoops. 1 second, I didn't have the thing ready. Okay, we'll do that intro again. Is it this? Yeah, okay. And welcome back to Comment Commentary, the show where I respond to comments I get with commentary. I'm Hardleg Joe, if you didn't know, joined as always by Twitch chat, and I guess Critter's here as well. Critter, you want to say hi to the viewers on the regular channel? Thank you, Critter. Ugh, I don't know why my throat's getting all scratchy all of a sudden. Okay. Actually, let's try this one more time. And welcome back to Comment Commentary, the show where I respond to comments I get with commentary. I'm Hardleg Joe, if you didn't know, joined as always by Twitch chat, and I guess Critter is here too. And today's comment comes from Kylata05T, who wrote quite a lot in response to the last episode. And unlike some previous long comments that I've gotten before, I think we're actually going to go through most of this. You know, they've made several different points, and they seem to be trying to engage with me by actually responding to what I said. You know, oftentimes I get comments that are just trying to make fun of me or just complaining that I hurt their feelings by the way I spoke or something like that. And this person seems to be genuinely trying to have a conversation. So we're going to go over all of this. That being said, I could take any one of these like 4 or 5 points and make a full 20-minute video out of that. And I don't want to spend an hour going over this. So instead, we're going to do something a little unique here. We're going to do like a sampler platter. I'm going to be responding to each of these briefly, just sort of giving a little once-over for each one of them. And if any of those spark your interest, if anything I say, you know, generates some more comments, leave... Okay. And if any of those segments spark your interest, you know, if you've got questions or you strongly disagree, you can leave them down in the comments, and maybe one of these will be a future comment. Okay. And if you have any questions, if one of these... And if any of those spark your interest, if you have some questions or some strong disagreements, you can leave them down in the comments to this video, and depending on what the reaction is, I'm sure one or more of these points will eventually become a full video. Let's go ahead. For now, though, let's go ahead and jump into this first segment, which reads, The comparison of government to business, in that you pay money and receive stuff, lacks one crucial thing. In the case of business, you legally can opt out and the business will not be able to force you to pay and receive its services. So this is a sentiment that I see a lot on my channel. If you're unfamiliar with me and the kind of content I make here, a lot of it focuses on the idea of economic democracy. You know, I believe that the, what are they called? The economic forces, you know, I believe that the economic forces in this country are so big, so impactful on your daily life, that they should be run democratically in the same way that the government is, that you should have a say in how those businesses are run. And this is a common response that I get, you know, well, you can't, ugh. And this is a common response I get. They say, you know, you can't opt out of the government, but when it comes to capitalism, you're free to, ugh. Ugh, 1 second. Okay. And this is a common response I get, you know, my eyes are going all crossways. I don't know what's up. Drinking too much coffee, maybe. Take 3. Yeah. And this is a common response that I get. This idea that, well, you know, you have to be in the government. You can't opt out of that. But when it comes to businesses, it's free trade, baby, you know. You're free. Ugh. Okay. And this is a common response I get. You know, this idea that, you know, keep saying you know over and over again. This is going to be a long day. Shut it. I'll get to it. And this is a common response I get. You know, this idea that you can't opt out of the government. The government pretty much, I almost said owns you, but it doesn't own you. Okay. Let's try this again. And this is a common response I get. This idea that, well, you can't opt out of the government, but capitalism is all about free trade. You know, no one's forcing you to buy anything. You don't have to buy from a company if you don't want to. Which is a strange combination of sentences, because it's half true, but probably not in the way you think. So, just for starters, right, you can opt out of the government if you want. If you don't want to pay taxes, you don't have to. You just also have to opt out of everything that the government provides. That means you can't use any government infrastructure, no driving on roads and bridges, no using the power lines, the water pipes, the sewer system that is either maintained by the government or at least heavily subsidized by it. It also means that you can't really make use of most businesses, most shops that sell things like food, because not only is food also heavily subsidized by the government to make it cheap enough so that you can afford it, but it's also regulated by the government to make sure that it's fairly safe, that you're not going to get, like, deathly ill by eating something. And if you do get deathly ill, you know, you can use the legal system to sue the people responsible and sort of keep them in line, get some compensation for the wrongs that have been done to you. There's a lot of stuff that the government provides, and if you want to opt out of all of that, you can. It just means essentially leaving all society behind. So there's a lot of stuff that the government provides, a lot more than I think most people realize. And if you want to opt out of all of that, you can. It just involves going off the grid. It essentially means leaving mainstream society behind, going out into the woods into some unincorporated territory, and building yourself a log cabin like the Unabomber. You know, starting your own farm, hunting and trapping animals, being completely self-sufficient. And that's not impossible. You know, there are actually a whole bunch of tutorials, people on YouTube living a lifestyle very similar to that. You can learn how to do it. But most people don't consider that a viable option because it's not practical. You know, they don't have the skills to be self-sufficient, and even if they did, they don't want to be. And the same thing is true of businesses, of capitalism in general. I mean, obviously not all private businesses are the same. If I don't want to buy a Funko Pop or the new Call of Duty, there's not really a huge incentive to do so. But I do need to buy food. I need to buy shelter, like a house or an apartment. I need hygiene products like soap and toothpaste. I need clothing. I need medicine. There are a lot of essentials for life that are only really provided by private businesses. And yeah, if I wanted to, I could start my own farm in my backyard and try to be self-sufficient. I could raise sheep, shear them, learn to sew so I could make my own clothing. I could make my own soap by wringing the fat from the pigs I slaughter in my backyard. But, doing all that is about as difficult as moving off the grid. In fact, you'd probably have to in order to do that, because being self-sufficient is a full-time job. It's not something you can do while working a 9-to-5, which means you're probably not going to be able to buy property in like a town or a city. You're going to have to leave society behind. So that's what I mean by the statement is half right, because you have to choose one or the other. Either you have to admit that you can opt out of the government. Either you have to admit that you can opt out of businesses, and you can opt out of government. It's just incredibly hard and not something most people are capable of doing. Or you have to admit that it's not practical to leave society behind and live like a hermit in the woods, in which case it's not practical to leave Okay. Let me rephrase that. I need Funko Pops. Okay. So that's what I mean by it's half true, because only one half of the statement can be correct. You either have to admit that, yes, you can leave capitalism behind in the same way that you can leave the government behind, or you can recognize that both of those things are impractical for a modern person to abandon. That it's not easy to just pack up everything you know and live completely isolated from society. Alright, so that brings us to point number 2, which we're immediately going to ignore because this is the one part that, I don't know what they're trying to say here. Comment in the comments if you do know. I think they're just trying to say that, corruption exists or something. Okay. Let's see. Alright, so that's enough for part... Alright, so that brings us to part 2 up here, which we're going to immediately ignore. This is the one part of their statement that I honestly don't really know what they're trying to say, so let's just skip that and move down to... paragraph number 3 here. Says, also, businesses, when they are created, are owned by its creator, and they're in the right for gaining money from it, as they are the ones who puts their time, money, and dedication into it, and are taking the risk of it failing, which loses them all of those. If it wasn't true, there'd be no reason to create businesses at all, and since the creator owns the business, they can sell it or its parts to someone. So this is a bit weirdly phrased, but if I'm getting them correctly, what they're trying to say in the first half of this is, if you start a business, and you're smart, you're hardworking, you create a product or a service that people like, and it's successful, then you deserve some kind of reward, some kind of compensation for being such a hard worker. And I agree entirely. I'm not sure why they think I wouldn't agree with that statement, but it's something that I see on quite a few videos. There's people who seem to think that just because I want economic democracy, I also want everyone's paycheck to be the same, which is not true at all. I just want businesses to be run democratically. And while it's possible that the people will elect to have everyone's paychecks the same, that doesn't seem likely. I think most people understand that some people work harder than others, some are more skilled than others, and they deserve to be rewarded for that. Life may not be fair, But in general, humans strive to make it fair as much as possible. So if you start a company and you build it from the ground up and you're a really good boss who's really successful, and then your company becomes democratized, I think all your employees will be able to recognize the hard work you put in. They'll say, yeah, he's a good leader, he deserves the leadership position, and that should come with more payment. So there's still going to be economic incentives to not only start a business, but to maintain it. The only thing that you're giving up is the ability to own that business. You can't then stop working and continue to make money off of it. You can't sell the business to someone else, screwing over your employees, and let that new owner run it into the ground where there's nothing they can do about it. You know, that's what leads to the parasitic system of capitalism, where you have people who own private businesses and don't actually work at them. So that brings me to the second half of this statement, this question, which kind of needs to be rephrased, you know? If people can't own their businesses, then what reason do they have to create businesses at all? Which, I mean, I don't want to insult this person, but that's a very stupid thing to say. Like, are you really so capitalism-brained that you can only conceive... Okay, I really shouldn't insult them. Which brings me to the second part of this statement, this idea that needs to be rephrased a little bit, basically asking, if people can't own their businesses, then what reason would they have to start one? Which is, like, crazy, right? Like, are you really so capitalism-brained that the only motivation you can think of to start a business is to own it? Because I can think of like dozens of motivations. This is one of those things I could make an entire 20-minute video on, just talking about all the different motivations. So just to simplify things, just to give one example, let's take me. You know, I have my own business. I run a private business. Specifically, I run a YouTube channel. Not this one. I have a much more popular one where I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And that pays all my bills. Do I own that channel? Not really. I mean, I can't sell shares of it. I'm not even sure if I could sell it to someone else. I'd really have to check the YouTube terms of service. Which is your big hint. YouTube owns my YouTube channel. I'm just allowed to operate it. They can, at any time, for any reason, decide to completely wipe my YouTube and all my videos from the face of the earth. I don't actually own anything involved with it. I just own some of the, like, intellectual property, the Hardleg logo or whatever. So there's the question. Why would I create a YouTube channel if I can't own it 100% and do with it whatever I want? Because I still make money off of it? There's still benefits to owning it and running it? Because I still make money off of it? There's still benefits to operating a YouTube channel even though I don't get 100% possession of it? Like, there's still tons of benefits from that. And not only that, but I also enjoy making YouTube videos. Like, I would make YouTube videos even if I wasn't getting paid for it all, even if there was no monetary incentive. And you have to look no further than this channel you're currently watching, which does not have monetization turned on, which I make zero money from, which I do just out of the passion of liking to create these videos. You know, so there's two examples. If you want more, I could certainly give you more, but there's plenty of reasons to make... So there's two examples, you know, I could give you plenty more, but needless to say, there's a lot of reasons to engage in work, to do business, beyond simply being able to own it and then sell it to whoever you want. And then we'll... Pardon me. So that brings us to point number 4 up here. I think it's 4. It's the third one where next point. That's okay. So that brings us to point number 4 up here. I think it's number 4. It's the third one we're responding to. We're looking at this point, the part that's highlighted. And they start by quoting me in the previous video, where I say, I would like businesses to be controlled by the workers. And then they ask, who would create the businesses? I'll stop them right there. The workers would. You know, the same people that are that are operating the businesses. You know, they talk about, oh, the government being the only other option for creating businesses. And it's like, no, just because you can't own a business doesn't mean you can't start a business. You know, this is where the example I used in last video, where I compared businesses to towns, really comes back into play. Because you can go out and start a town. Like, it's really difficult, especially in the modern day. But the way the system works is basically if there's unincorporated land or you buy land, you can just start building there. If you convince other people to build there, then you founded a town. You don't own that town. And there's plenty of motivation for people. You don't own that town. And there's plenty of reasons for people to, like, want to go and move there. Okay, let's try that. So this is where the example from last time, so this is where the example I used in the last video is really useful. Okay. So this is where the example from last video is really useful. The idea that businesses are like towns. Anyone can go out and found a town. The government doesn't have to decide where a town is going to be. If you go out into unincorporated land or buy some land out in the middle of nowhere, you can start building up a town from scratch. The government only really plays a part once your town gets to a certain size. I haven't looked it up, but I haven't looked it up, maybe I should, but once a town reaches I haven't looked it up, but I know that once a certain area reaches a certain population size, then they have to incorporate it into the state they're located. They have to become part of the government. Okay. You just require money. I haven't looked up the exact size, but I know that there's a certain population limit that once you hit it, you have to abide by certain rules. You have to start having elections for, like, mayor and city council and stuff like that. You have to start providing services for the people who live there. You have to incorporate yourself, at least minimally, into the state and the country that you live in. And it would be the same thing for businesses. If you and your buddies want to start a business, like a little burger stand or whatever, you're free to do so. And the government doesn't really have a whole lot of say in it. Obviously, you've got to go by certain, okay. And it's the same thing with, okay, let's try this again. We'll just start from the top. Not the top, but. And this is where the example from last video is useful once again. That the idea that businesses are like towns. Damn it, okay. And this is where the example from last episode really shines once again. The idea of businesses being treated the same as towns. You don't need a government to start a town. Towns kind of grow up around settlements, around people building houses, building their own places to live, and just sort of naturally building infrastructure around that. The only time the government really steps in is once you reach a certain population. Then they come in and be like, okay, well, clearly you're a town now, which means you need to have democratic institutions. You need to have elections to vote for mayor. You need to have laws. You need to have some minimum infrastructure. And you need to collect some taxes to pay for that infrastructure. At a certain point, the area stops just being like you and your buddies living out wherever, and it becomes a town. And it's the same thing with businesses. At a certain point, the area you're living in becomes a town, and then it's no longer like just your area. It belongs to anyone who happens to move in, anyone who wants to become part of the town. And it's the same thing with democratic businesses. You know, if you just want to start a small burger stand with you and a couple buddies, you can, and you don't have to worry about like, oh, are your two buddies gonna outvote you and take democratic control of your burger stand? Like, no, you can still run them like traditional businesses. The whole point of economic democracy is that once your business reaches a certain size, once it gets the power of like a small town where you have hundreds, maybe thousands of workers, several different locations located all across the state, maybe all across the country, once you have like, once you become essentially like a service, part of the infrastructure, then you have to have certain democratic tendencies. The people who work for you should get a say in how everything is being run. And you know, if you started a business and you're a good boss who pays their workers well and provides a good service and your business is successful, there's no reason to think that your employees wouldn't elect you to be the CEO of that business. That they wouldn't elect to give you like a high salary deserving of the work that you go for. The only time you have to worry is when you're bad at your job, when you abuse people, when you take, what would be? I shouldn't use the word abuse. The only time you have to worry is if you're a shitty boss, if you exploit your workers and treat them poorly and you're running the business badly. Like, that's the thing about economic democracy that I don't quite get, because a lot of the people who oppose it will talk about this idea of earning stuff through hard work, the idea of being rewarded for merit. And a democratic system ensures that you have to maintain a level of hard work, that you have to be held accountable for your actions. You know, it ensures that if you want to continue to be at the top, you have to prove that you're doing a good job. It's a system that is more meritocratic, more merit-based than the current one we have, where like an owner can give it to their son, and it doesn't matter how bad the son is or if the son even works. You know, they own it and they can do whatever they want with it because it's their property. And the thousands of people who might work for that company are shit out of luck if they have anything to say. They could be fired for pretty much any reason. Wage theft, yeah. All right, so that just brings us to this last section here, which is also the longest section. All right, so that's... All right, so that brings us to the... And that brings us to the last section here, which is also the longest section. And it reads, "The problem with the American model of business-government relationships is the fact that your government is in cahoots with oligopolies and helps them to prevent any competitors from rising. This actually suppresses the free market and leads to a centralizing of wealth. If government supported newborn businesses instead of creating more and more policies that require time and money that only big corporations have, you Westerners would have it a lot better." So the first half of this statement, I completely agree. You know, the people who have the money, the capitalists at the top of the system, they sure are using the government to get laws passed to their benefit. If you wonder why the democracy doesn't feel like a democracy, it's because the people with money are lobbying the politicians to do things that are against your interest and in their better interest. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you enjoyed. Oh, okay, let's try that again. So the first half of this, I 100% agree with. You know, the fact that big money capitalists, the people who own everything, also have the money to lobby politicians to do what they want, is a huge problem. It's the reason why people don't trust the government, why they don't feel like the government is democratic, because it's really not. It's at the whim of all the business owners who have the money to buy politicians. Where they kind of falter is the end part, the conclusion they draw from this, which is a little bit difficult because now we're going to talk about markets, about market economics, which is something that a lot of people conflate with capitalism. They think that capitalism is markets, but those are two separate ideas. You don't need to have capitalism to have markets. You can have a free market without people owning pieces of that market. Market economics, at its very most basic, is about the idea of competition. It's this idea that if you need to provide a service, the way to get the best service is to have two different markets compete against each other to try to do the best. And in doing that, they will just naturally try to provide better services at lower cost to everyone. And that'll result in the best possible option for the consumers. It's supposed to be good for society as a whole that competition is happening. And I think most people kind of understand that, which is why they also understand the main problem we have right now is that it's almost impossible to compete, especially in certain industries, just because you have these giants that absolutely dominate the space. Your Amazons, your Microsofts, your McDonald's, your Walmart, Coca-Cola, Frito-Lay, these huge global industries that have so much money and so many resources that no startup could ever possibly stand against them. The best thing you could hope for is to create a brand new product to come into a new niche and get popular enough that one of the big companies buys your the best you can hope for in the modern day is that you create some new product, some new service, you get into a new niche, and you become successful enough that one of the giants will look down and be like, hey, we'll give you $10 million to buy your company off of you. You know, that's 1/1000th of their wealth. They have tens of billions of dollars, but they'll give you life-changing money in order to snatch up your company and incorporate it into themselves. And, you know, that's really good for you who started the business, and usually really bad for everyone who works at the business, for all the consumers who actually buy that product, because now that product's being absorbed into a huge company that is going to run it into the ground. That is probably going to milk it for all it's worth, make the product worse, treat the employees worse, and just generally ruin things. That's kind of why I'm against this whole idea of capitalism. It benefits very, very few people to the detriment of everyone else. And again, that's the best case scenario. Oftentimes what happens, especially if you refuse the first offer, is that that big company will just steal your idea. They'll just do whatever you're doing, but because they have the means and the resources, they will do it at scale, they will do it cheaper than you, and they will just outcompete you by nature of their size alone. And if you think that's unfair, if you think you want to sue them, that's even better for them. That just means you're spending more company money on lawyers that aren't going to be able to win before you go bankrupt. They will be able to tie things up in court for years and years, and all the while they will just be taking more and more market share away from you until your company dies. And the thing about that is that isn't, and the thing about that process is that it has almost nothing to do with the government. This person is acting like the reason those companies are so big is because of government regulations making it difficult for small businesses or not giving small businesses enough of a chance. But, okay, fuck, I lost my train of thought for a second. And the thing about that is that it's not the result of government intervention, like this person seems to think. Having these giant companies with a lot of wealth is the natural end result of competition. Because competitions have winners and losers. They are not an eternal cycle that can always be fought on fair ground. The nature of competition is that one company will defeat the other one, take more of a market share, and get bigger.
over time, they consolidate. They bring in more companies, they get more resources, it allows them to do better, and you inevitably end up with these huge monolithic companies that completely dominate an entire industry. We've been here once before. Around the time of the Great Depression in America, you had 1% of the population owning 90% of the wealth in businesses, running almost everything. And it resulted in awful conditions for almost everyone. It resulted in a huge economic crash. And it took the government coming in to break up those monopolies to try to put everything back into place. But as you can see, 100 years later, we're pretty much back to the same exact situation that we were before. You know, the big companies now may not technically be monopolies, but people have found loopholes, they have found workarounds, because that's just naturally how the system works. A free market will tend towards consolidation. And you can break down those pieces as much as you want, you can try to incentivize smaller businesses all you want, but inevitably, you're just repeating that same cycle. They will build up and create bad conditions again, requiring you to come in and bust them up again. The solution is not to say that big companies are inherently bad. It's to say big companies have now become infrastructure that needs to be democratically managed. You know, Amazon existing is not a problem. The problem is that it doesn't pay its workers enough, that it's really inefficient because a lot of its money is going to shareholders, that it's milking the customers dry at the expense of good products and services. And most of that can be either resolved or at least helped by making that a democratic company where the customers, or at the very least the laborers, are the ones who decide how the system is run. But then I think I've said more than enough. And yeah, I think that's about all I had to say on this comment. Again, hopefully I didn't go too long. I'm looking at the time, and I've been here about an hour. Hopefully that cuts down to a little bit less. Well, you'll have to let me know if you like this sampler platter style situation where I'm talking about a bunch of different topics. And like I said at the beginning, if any of this sparked your interest, if you have questions or you violently disagree with what I said, leave it down in the comments. Take your time. Write the best comment you can. You know, there's no cutoff date or whatever. And I'll go through it. I'll pick one of the best ones. And maybe you can appear in the next commentary. For now, thank you again to Kylata05T. As always, I need to remind everyone that just because I disagree with this person does not mean we're enemies. It's very clear that we both want the same thing. We both want people to flourish. We both want the big corporations to have less power. We want a prosperous middle class where people are rewarded for their behavior. They just seem to have a lot of mistakes on how we achieve that goal. And the same is true with so much stuff. You know, there are people who will watch these videos and think that, like, I hate them or their way of life. No. We're all on the same side here. We just need to realize it, and we need to collect around one specific idea. At least that's what I think. Again, comment in the comments or whatever. For now, though, I'm cutting it off. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a good one. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, stay safe out there. All right. We did it, chat. We made it. And I'm sorry, I didn't read the comment. I was so big, I was like looking at the clock and I was like, fuck. I was really hoping I could get this out in under 20 minutes and it's been like 40. So how has chat been doing? Talking about human... Okay, so it sounds like they're having their own little chat. What is a free market? Hard to say.
Chat's been chatty. They've been having a good time. All right. So let's go ahead. We're going to get chat off of here. Chat, go to sleep. That's not the chat box. There we go. And let's open up... where did it go? My shit moved around. Oh, there it is. Sleepy, sleepy. I don't have Melodious sleepy time. Oh, I gotta upgrade. Let's see. And at this point, we want to window capture, not Dr. Worm. YGO Omega. Behold, chat, the Omega Protocol. Do you know it? Do you believe? Are you prepared for Yugi-mans of the highest caliber? I guess I should step in. People are discussing in the comments whether or not people are inherently greedy. And there's kind of a Melodious beta. And so the thing is, it's one of those things where it's not like a binary. It's people are inherently greedy to an extent, but it's not like our primary trait, at least for most people. Obviously, some people are motivated very highly by greed, others not so much. Everyone has like a little bit of a greed. The problem with like capitalism and to an extent the market system in general is that it incentivizes people to be greedier. It takes that aspect and it says like, what's the example I often use? Okay, so let's in order to see what I'm talking about, let's make a really dark example, chat. Are people inherently cannibals? Do people naturally want to eat each other? You would say probably no, but there are some like civilizations where that's just like part of their society, where they incorporate it into there. Depends on the person, yeah. So it's kind of a neutral thing. You know, obviously a lot of people are against it, and obviously there are some people who like it more than others. There are some people who go crazy with the craving for human flesh. There are other people that don't care at all. But if you got a bunch of people and you threw them on an island with no other food or water, those people would almost certainly, with like a 90% probability, eat each other. If not while they were still alive, then they would at least eat the dead. Because if you put in an incentive program where they have no other food and the only food is people, then people will naturally take that route. People in general, if they have one trait, it's that they're adaptable. If you make the environment in such a way that cannibalism is the best route to survive, then people will cannibalize each other. And the same thing is true of greed. Some people are greedy, some more than others, some people barely do it at all. But our environment right now is geared to make you want to be as greedy as possible. It is an environment where we have enough resources to help everyone, but we choose not to. We purposely limit what you can get, which makes people desperate to get things. We are an insecure society where
if you lose your job, if you lose your possessions, you could be homeless out on the street. We don't have safety nets to take care of people. And as such, even people who normally wouldn't be greedy are stockpiling resources because they're scared that one day they might lose things, that one day something might happen and they won't be prepared. Hi, Joe. Hi, chat. Hi, Red. Greed maxing, yeah. And so, like, that's basically what I, like, the whole idea with economic democracy is this idea of, like, people are naturally greedy, but rather than put them in an environment where the greediest people are the ones who do the best, which incentivizes greedy people to rise to the top at the expense of everyone else, we create a system, an environment, where the people who are the most cooperative, the people who are the most helpful to society, are the ones who succeed the most, who get the most money, who get the most success and fame, and that incentivizes people to act less greedy. Obviously, there will still be greedy people. Obviously, there will still be corruption. There will still be problems. But rather than leaning into it and making it more likely, we try to use all the resources we have to make it less impactful. Anyway, Melodious times. Let me get my background music on here. Do 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 do. They call me Dr. Worm. Ooh, that was pretty loud. Okay. How's that, chat? Is that too loud? Is it not too loud enough? Doodle-doo-doo. 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 Wow, there's a lot of Melodious cards. Holy shit. When did this archetype become Black Wings? It's just nice. Okay. So give me 1 second. I'm going to cook up some dinner real quick. But that dinner is just going to be a peanut butter sandwich. We're eating really light today. And that should only take me like a minute to make, and then we'll start going through Melodious. Okay, chat. I know I said we were going to go on to Melodious, but I actually thought of a really good example while I was making my sandwich. What type of bread is that? It's wheat bread. I try to be slightly healthy. Wheat bread with peanut butter on it. Very nice and simple. But yeah, while I was out there, I was thinking, what are some other, like, natural traits of humans? And I think, well, first of all, I'm curious, chat. Do you think humans are naturally violent? Do we long to hurt others? Do we like to fight? Is wheat bread healthy? I think so. No. Feels like violence is nurtured. We're animals. Yeah. Of course we do. Yeah. Conflict, yes. Violence, no. I would actually say that violence is probably an inherent trait of humans. Humans by nature, like if you get little kids, they will naturally try to like punch things. They don't have to be taught how to fight. We've got these like clubs for hands. It's not a basic human need. Yeah. We're calm because of our position, and we are domesticated. Humans, I think, are inherently violent. I think it takes a lot of teaching, especially for younger kids, to sort of train them to not be violent. To be like, hey, we use our words around here. Hey, I know you're angry, but you're not allowed to hit people. And we as a society don't say like, okay, well, people are naturally violent anyway, so we should just like allow them to be violent. We should have trial by combat. We should have a purge where, you know, for a certain time a year, people can go out and be violent. We don't get up the most violent people and allow them to be like policemen and prison wardens or whatever. We generally don't reward violence in any way, because we've realized that violence is a negative trait, even if it's inherent to us, and we have built our society in such a way that you shouldn't have to use violence to get what you want. That violence isn't necessary, and none of our incentive systems reward you for violence. Many violent people become cops. They do, but they're not supposed to. When they're violent, most people get angry at that. Violence is the simplest, most unthinking way to respond to something. Exactly. And I think it's the same with greed. Greed may be inherent to humans. It may be natural to see something and be like, ooh, I want that. But I think we as a society should recognize that, like, people trying to hoard things is bad for everyone. People being greedy is not a trait that we want to incentivize. But somehow we've built up a system where the greediest people, the ones who, well, maybe not the greediest, but the people who have the right combination of greedy and being able to plan, are the ones who have the most success and the most wealth. And rather than look at the system and be like, well, people are greedy anyway, so we should allow them to be greedy, I think we need to be like, well, no, greed's a bad thing. We should stop being greedy. Except for a couple of physical sports, yeah. Well, that's the thing. We've channeled, you know, we haven't stopped people from being violent, but we've channeled a lot of those violent impulses into, like, playing violent video games, into playing, like, full contact sports. We still have boxers and wrestlers and football players. There are ways to do basically like sanctioned violence, but even those are all set up in a way that hopefully no one gets seriously hurt, or if they are, they're compensated for it. Shoutouts to hockey. Okay. Alright, chat. Time to read all of the Melodious cards. First of all, do they have a field spell? They do not. They do have several fusion monsters and one link. This is the highest level one though, which makes me believe this is the boss monster. Also, I believe this has a summon animation in Master Duel. Does that make game shows the greed versions of pro sports? Possibly. This deck list isn't very good. It's also less than 40 cards. It wouldn't be legal to play. Okay. Let me shrink myself, whoop, 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 so you can read along with it. Flowering a Toil, the Melodious Magnificat.
You don't look like any cat I've ever seen. Also, I'm realizing I need to put this over here and this over here. Chat, you're here, and cards are over here. It's one of those things that always annoy me about like other YouTubers is that they don't position their screens right. So they're like talking to someone who on screen is positioned over here, but they put their monitor over here. So they're sitting there talking to someone behind them like, yeah, that's a good point. It's like either put their monitor here so it looks like you're looking at them, or flip your screen around so you're facing the up so you're mirrored. Anyway, this takes a Melodious Maestra and 2 Melodious monsters. 1, 2... So we just have the 2... We have the 2 Maestras, we have like 3 or 4 Songstresses, and we have a bunch of Divas. So it takes one of these big ones. Oh, I guess this is also a Maestra. This is a Maestra. That's a Diva. That's a Prima. A Prima of the choir, whatever. Okay. One of those. Big investment, quick effect. You can banish until the end phase any number of Melodious monsters you control, then return that many face-up cards your opponent controls to the hand. You can use this effect once per turn. If this fusion summoned card leaves the field because of an opponent's card, special summon a Melodious from your deck or extra deck, except a copy of itself. The way this is phrased, does this work even if you get Kaiju'd? I think it does. Because it doesn't say card effect, it just says because of an opponent's card. Okay, so at the very least, it banishes itself. And then it's a non-targeting bounce, which is really good against extra deck cards. Against branded, they're just like, summon a fusion. I can fusion from anywhere. It's like, can you fusion from the extra deck? I don't think so. Get out of here. And obviously, you could have a full board wipe. I know, because I used to play this in real life. You get the Aria Elegy lock, where you can't be targeted or destroyed by any means. And then I guess if they have something that doesn't target or destroy, or something that's going to like pierce through you, you can bounce these out. And they don't special summon back, they just banish until the end phase. So even if they like try to do something and you bounce out and then they summon a barrier statue, your people still come back. So pretty neat. Not quite a boss monster, only 2800 attack, but it's just going to be a matter of can we get this on board with the other cards. And then Foolish Baka. Silly Baka. Any 2 Melodious monsters. Okay, super easy to make. 2500. While you control this fusion summon card, the activated effects of Melodious fusion monsters cannot be negated. Alright, so the Elatile becomes spell speed 4. You can only use each effect if this card is special summoned. Special summon a Melodious from your deck. That's pretty good. If this card is sent to the graveyard, just sent to the graveyard. Yeah, so even if you send it from the extra deck, this still triggers. You can target 1 Melodious in your graveyard, accept itself, summon it in defense position. Alright. So this is a great example of, like, Extender Supreme. It can't be ashed because it itself is unaffected. Or it can't be negated. Etoile. Etoile. Okay, and then the rest of these are newer, or older. This takes a Maestra and I'm 1 or more, 300 for every fusion material. It can make a second attack. If it's sent to the graveyard, target 1 Melodious. Okay. So you perhaps go to battle with this. It can, let's see, it takes at least 2, so it'll have at least 600. So 2,500 attack, so it attacks for 5,000. I can see playing one of this, and just in case. This we probably wanted at least 2. I think this seems like a 1 of, maybe a 2 of, depending on how easy it is to make. Schuberta. Them thighs, I tell you what. Thunder thighs. 2 Melodious monsters. Once while face up on the field, quick effect, target 3 cards in the graveyard, banish them, this gains 200 for each. Yeah, this is just like triple DD Crow. Once per turn, for free! A Maestra and a Melodious, 1+. Yeah, remember, this is like the U-Bell, the like weird, creepy analog horror fairy. I see all your sins and I judge you. Can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. You take no battle damage. If it battles a special summoned monster, after damage calculation, inflict damage equal to the difference between the original attack and this card, and if you do, destroy that monster. Not as good because it has 1,000 attack, but might be good for finishing some games. Also take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. Huh. It's weird because it doesn't reflect the damage, it inflicts burn damage. So like... read... yeah, equal to the attacking monster's attack. Okay, what does Nightmare Pain say? Your opponents take any battle damage you would have taken. Okay, so this still... you take no battle damage. Okay. So if I summon this, they can still run U-Bell into it. I was wondering how this was phrased, where it's like, maybe if because I don't take any battle damage, they can't reflect it, but it does almost the same thing. Good to know. And I remember this. It's just 2 fairies, and then it summons 2 Melodious from the deck. But it has to be to zones this points to, which makes it really weak to Ghost Ogre. Can't special summon except for Melodious. If a Melodious this points to attacks, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. Melodious is your next Master Crime? Yes. Oh, also, I should change the switch settings. Let's real quick... Stream Manager. Because I'm no longer just chatting. I'm doing other stuff. Oh, I could run an ad. I won't, though. But I just want you to know, chat, that I could. How the heck do I do this? Average stream bitrate is too high and unstable? What the fuck does that mean? Oh, there it is. Okay, let's go to Master Duel. One day I'll get mods, chat. Like actual mods who do stuff. Today is not that day. Okay, so we got the quick effect bounce. We got the DD Crow. We got the damage reflect. Need a reminder, this one is you can special summon a light fairy from your hand. You can special summon the turn you do this except light monsters. We need to play at least one of these. Once per turn, you can target a light fairy in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You cannot activate non-light monster effects during the turn you activate this. Have Critter as your mod? He can't type, he didn't have any fingers. Play the one that adds. We'll see. I'll put 2 for both. Special summoned Melodious cannot be destroyed by card effects, and all fairies gain 300. So yeah, if I can make this, I can summon this and Aria. If this special summoned card is on the field, Melodiouses cannot be targeted by card effects or destroyed by battle. Very nice. Cannot attack the turn it's summoned. Just a level 4 with 2300 attack, just strong for no reason. If this card is sent to the graveyard as fusion material, you can activate this effect. For the rest of the turn, Melodious cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. I don't think we'll need that. Solo! If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon this from your hand. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can special summon a Melodious from your deck. I remember this used to be useful because you would crash and then get Diva in defense position, and then a lot of decks couldn't out this. Probably not in this day unless you just need like a starter. Cannon, if you control a Melodious, special summon this from your hand. You only do this once per turn. You can target a Melodious, change its battle position. It's maybe go second, maybe, yeah. This is an extender. I'm not sure how much we need those. Soprano. This always reminds me of the 5th element. When this card is special summoned, target one Melodious in your graveyard, except itself, add it to your hand, and use this once per turn. Once per turn, you can fusion summon from your extra deck using materials you control, including this card. Probably a one of. Gabagoo, come over here. Just big, huge, puffy pants. Just always saw this, like, what's the point? It looks sharp. It looks like it would be impossible to run. If this card is special summoned while you control a Melodious monster, you can add polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand. This card is sent to the graveyard as fusion material. Target one, it loses 500 attack and inflicts 500. Yeah, so that's a maybe along with Poly. I mean, it sounds like we're going to have the ability to summon stuff from the deck pretty easily. So we can just add a polymerization and then fusion. Or fusion sub, yeah, and we can do that. Is fusion sub in here? There we go. Serenade! This card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute of a fairy. After this card is special summoned, you can normal summon one Melodious during your main phase in addition to your normal summoner set. Maybe, but probably not. This one is also just a free extender. If you control a Melodious, special summon this. While this is on the field, all fairies gain 500 attack and defense. Yeah, I feel like maybe like this is a 3 of. Yeah, because this is a free extender, and it's unlike Cannon, which is once per turn. This one is not. And it just gives a blanket attack boost. Brilliant! This card is always a Gem Knight. Discard a Gem Knight or a Melodious. Special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can send one Melodious from your extra deck to the graveyard. Until the end phase, this name, type, and attribute becomes the original. Okay. If this card is sent to the graveyard, target a Melodious in your graveyard, except itself, special summon it. Why don't you make this part of the video into a Let's Build? Let's Builds are they're not worth the time and effort to edit them. They make like $30. If I could edit them in like an hour, I would, but I would maybe do it, but they're just not really worth it. So this is a maybe. I can see, this seems like a good extender, except you already need something. Crystal Rose. Send one Gem Knight or Melodious from your hand or deck to the graveyard. And or deck, but not extra deck. And if you do, this card becomes the sent monster's name until the end phase. If this card is in the graveyard, you could banish one fusion from your graveyard. Special summon this card in defense. So this does get me like a Maestra on field. Oh, wait. Okay, actually, yeah. I forgot that to even summon this, I can discard something, so I'll almost always have, so I'll have setup for it, unless I want to normal summon it. And then not only can it send Baka to summon back the thing I discarded, but it also becomes a Maestro, which means I have material for this. So this might be a 3 of. Because this seems like if you open with this and like any Melodious name, not only do you have 2 monsters on the field to make Bloom Harmonist without using your normal summon, but you also set up like 2/3 of the material needed to summon your boss monster. Never seen anyone play that card, huh? Brilliant Rose is a 0 of. This is just like Melodious Honest, right? During damage calculation, if a Melodious battles an opponent's monster, send this card from your hand to the graveyard, change that attack and defense to 0. Funny, but not needed. The original attack and this card, yeah. I play Melodious and I don't play the Rose card, why not? Is it like, have you tried it and it like didn't work? Is there something you're reading and you're like, no, that's not really worth it because you're not playing enough Melodiouses in the deck to really like have the discard? Because it seems like, you know, almost no matter what, like if you have Arya in hand, being able to discard Arya, summon this, send Baka summon back Diva, or Songstress, or whatever to get polymerization, it's fine in Gem Knight. It locks you out of the thing. Except Melodious. Ah! The turn you use this? Damn. Shit sucks. I saw the Sleepy Girl climb video today. I gotta say it was hilarious. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I tip my hat in your direction. Okay, pendulum time. She's like, check it. I'm sorry. Check it. Couplet. You cannot pendulum summon except light monsters. This effect cannot be negated. If you do not control any face-up monsters other than Melodious, you can add one Melodious spell trap from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Alright. Where's she at? There she is. I saw a card that searches another card, and I was like, okay, we got it. Ah. Weird that it's not. Okay, if this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it for your normal draw, you can reveal it, and then special summon a level 4 or lower Melodious from your hand or graveyard. That's a weird poplar. If a Melodious Fusion monster is special summoned to your field while this is face up in your extra deck, you can place this in the Pendulum Zone. Neat. Okay, so real quick, this adds a Melodious Spell Trap. First movement solo is not a Melodious Spell Trap. Neither, or this is Concerto, Ostinato, Fortissimo. Why would they do this? So there are 2 targets, and I already know this one is, like, awful. Unaffected by your opponent's spell traps and can make a second attack. Theming. Refrain. Target 1 Melodious Fusion you control. Send 1 Melodious monster from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do, the targeted monster gains attack equal to the level of the monster sent until the end of this turn. Huh. So you target Baka, you send something to the from the deck to the graveyard, then when Baka goes to the graveyard, you can grab anything. If this card is normal or special summoned, add 1 Melodious monster from your deck to your hand. Alright. If a Melodious Fusion is special summoned to your field while this is in your extra deck, you can place this in your Pendulum Zone. Okay, I got it. You're adding couplet 90% of the time. Okay, so summon Refrain. Refrain gets couplet. Couplet in the Pendulum Zone. Because all I control is Melodious, I can add Melodious Concerto. What does this do? Fusion summon a Fairy Fusion using monsters from your... I don't know how that happened. Hand, field, and or Pendulum Zones. Okay. So I can use this on the field and this in the Pendulum Zone. If a Melodious Fusion is sent to the graveyard, while this card is in your graveyard, even during the damage step, place this card on the bottom of the deck, then draw 1 card. Just sent to the graveyard. Okay. So you only need 1 of those, right? Like, it's technically a starter, but you, like, even though you search it, as soon as your fusion goes to the graveyard, you just put it back on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, I recognize that. It uses with the... You play 2 if you play Desires. Yeah, maybe 2. First movement solo. If you control no monsters, special summon a level 4 Melodious from your hand or deck. You can only do this once per turn. You cannot summon except Melodious. But that gets to Refrain, so we played at 3. Okay, now I'm seeing why people don't... Why is this always treated as a Gem Knight card and not always treated as a Melodious card? If this was always treated as a Melodious card, it would be like one of the biggest combo pieces in the world. Lore. Ostinato. If you control no monsters, fusion summon from the deck. During the end phase, destroy the monster fusion summoned by this effect, and if you do, all the materials are in the graveyard, you can special summon them. Riff. Yeah, so I remember this, what you used to do is you would just send, like, Aria and Diva to make this, and then you just let it get destroyed so these would come back. The question is, chat, well, so let's say if I use Ostinato to make Etoile, and then she banishes herself and comes back, does she still destroy it, or does that reset it? It can't summon Etoile? Oh, it has to only use 2. Okay. Ostinato is disgusting! And then we got... Once per turn, target one Melodious. It gains 800 attack until your next standby. You could send this to the graveyard to fusion summon a Melodious. Just get rid of that. Okay. So probably a third Baka. Probably a second. Where'd she go? There she is. A Twal. Maybe even a second Schuberta. Because it seems really easy to fusion someone with this. Why are my eyes not working? There she is. Okay. And then, you know, we're going to put 2 Maxi in there. I'm going to put 3 Ash Blossom. I'm going to put 2 Called By. I'm going to put 3 Imperm. And that leaves quite a bit in our engine. Orange Light, we only got one of those, right? Or did they put it back at 3? Back to 3, baby. And there's no other fairy hand trap, right? Effect Veiler looks like a fairy, but is Spellcaster. Okay. So, I have a general idea. I think if I were building this, this is probably how I do this. Maybe Tam Tam if I wanted to fuse twice. You're kind of locked into Melodious exclusively, aren't you? This card is summoned, you can add the thing. You can add the thing. Okay, so doing that combo doesn't lock you into anything, which is why people mix it with everything. No material. Haha! Maybe. First movement. Harmonious locks me for the whole turn. Who's Chopina? Her. It's light monster effects. Okay. Yep, this is the point in the study where we're gonna go looking at other people's deck lists to see what they came up with. I could sit here and look through all the light monsters and the fairy monsters, but I'm sure people have studied this deck with the sword. I don't know. Brilliant Rose might still be worth it. You can't use Bloom Harmonious, but I'm curious how many combos. Okay. We're going to pause our music. For those watching on YouTube, this is the point where we watch other people's deck lists to see what they came up with. And because I don't want to re-upload other people's videos, this always gets cut out of the VOD. So if you want to see me reacting to other people's deck lists, come to the Twitch and watch it live. Otherwise, we'll use the power of editing to go into the future. Let's turn our music back on. And we'll welcome back the people on YouTube. Hello. You didn't miss a lot. We saw like two videos that had deck profiles, and then proceeded to watch 30 other deck profiles where they revealed the exact same deck with slightly different hand traps. I thought Melodious was being like teched into a whole bunch of things. I thought there were other options, but it seems pretty xenophobic. It's just like everything locks you into Melodious pretty much. We found maybe one or two interesting tech cards. This one in particular uses Heralds and Ava, and maybe that's enough. I feel like this is... Okay, one second. Okay. Ostinato plus the pendulums are used as an engine to get Apo and 5 summons. Ah, okay. Alright, so if I open with first movement, they both require me to have no monsters. But Ostinato's the better of the two, right? Because it doesn't lock me into Melodious. So we're going to make Sussy Baka. And we're going to use this one and Arya. And then when this is summoned, we can get Shapina. Activate Shapina, get back the reframe. Normal summon. Grab Soprano. Because we've already got Couplet. Grab this, then we concerto. We make you using you. Oh, we use all 3. Oh, we could have kept one and then... Okay. It's been so long. No. And then this gets me back you. Then we can Pendulum Shokan, you and you. This card is special summoned. You could target one in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. Sure. Just recycle. Oh, okay, that's why I need another copy of Soprano. because then I could fusion. Oh, I could have just summoned this. Okay, let's try this again. No exceed the pendulum, no. Okay, so we activate. 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 In this case, we don't need to get the thing back, so we get refrain. Supposed to use refrain to send Sonata and add it back. Ah, okay. Oh, refrain's pendulum zone. Okay. So I can normal summon this. I can activate, make you. We get you. Special summon this. We get you. Go into the back rooms. We get you to get a free card. That adds back to hand, so we can get this back. Target this, send, I think Sonata they said, or Shapina. No, we can get, okay, send Sonata. Activate this. Gonna use these two now. Send off that. And we'll get you and you. This gets back. We could get this back, but now we get this back. We still haven't pendulum summoned. Pendulum Shokan. Activate, make Thunder Thighs. Send Soprano and Refrain. Baka summon Shapina. Refrain, search, couplet. The problem is I haven't remembered all their names yet. Soprano, refrain is the pendulum. Okay. Yeah, so it's not perfect. We didn't get Elegy. But this is still, like, the main thing, and we still got, like, 2 cards. We could have done other stuff if we wanted to. Oh, fuck, is that a fungi of the musk? Quick, battle phase. Everyone get out of here. Cheez-It, it's the fuzz. Gotcha. And then we can just do this and make, I don't know, another one of these. But they came back. Just in case they've got Mirror Force. And let's gain some extra real quick. Just in case. Very important. Okay. I think, I'm not even getting... I need to be on Master Duel. I'm so unused to the animations here. So give me 1 second. Let's open up the Master Duel. Let's turn off the background music. Yeah, we definitely want 2 soprano. It's thinking. It's cooking. Doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo. Real quick, chat. They added a new pack. It's got the Horus monsters and also the Ogdoadic monsters. 1 free pull. 1 free pull. 1 free pull. 1 free pull. Ha! Well, there you go, chat. We got our Lizardos. Now we don't need to craft one. Additional mirror level 7. If a level 7 monster is special summoned, send 2 additional mirrors from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Then target one of those monsters. Special summon 2 monsters with the same name from your deck. Then take damage equal to their combined attack. Also, for the rest of this turn, you can only summon from the extra deck once. Excuse me, what the fuck? How weird. Did you look at the Jinzo, mate? No. I mean, there he is. He's standing tall. Ooh, that's nice. That all he does? Wakanda forever. Shut up. Okay. So we can delete this deck. We can delete this deck. We can delete this deck that we never used. When you attack, he does the Shadow Ball. Okay. Melodious Beta. Okay. So, first of all, we need to have a shiny one. I don't care how many normal rare points. Give me the shiny Aria. It only took 5. We're cracked, chat. It's a one of. We'll generate. I'll just wait till we get it. 2 of those. Need. Yeah, we're gonna boost generate this as well because it's a one of. Cost is no object. $14, okay. A little bit more, but still good. 1 of you. 3 of you. Chopina. Concerto needs to be shiny. $16. Not so bad. And then we play Ash Blow. Called by Imperm. We're trying the Droll. Actually, Ava adds... Okay, so we'll save the Droll for later. We'll just play the max for now. The bug remains. Two green, 3 orange, and I guess 1 purple? Why not? Get Ava. Abu soda, I like to drink a lot of it. It's delicious, I put it in my tummy tum. Am I missing? Oh, yeah. Actually, we don't need the purple. Because we're playing 2 of the Soprano. Lizardos. We're playing the Herald of Mirage Lights. We're playing the Gravity Controller. We're playing the Agent of the Moon. S:"P. Underworld Go. What are we missing? Do I? Yeah, I do. Okay, got Gravity Controller, we got Mirage Lights, we got Lizardos. We got the Bloom Diva. We got SP. We got the Moon. We got Underworld Goddess. Oh. I was like, what are we missing? Her. I guess we probably need Baguska too, right? The Bagoo! The other fusion, yeah, we're gonna put that in there. I guess while we're at it, you know, we can always throw that in later. We're gonna start with a little goofier version. Where's she at? I can't visualize her in my mind. There she is. I have one. I haven't broken it down. We might as well use it. Ostinato is in the secret pack. A Song of Zephyrin Petals. What about this one? Oh no. So this isn't a pack. This ain't. This ain't. Okay. So what are we crafting? 8 URs? What's 8 times 30? 240. Alright, well, I could do that right now if I really wanted to. We'll probably open some new packs anyway, just to get the dust. Maybe Invincible Aces. Is there anything here that I don't have? Yeah, like I could get one of each of these two. I might need it for the future. I might need this in the future. And like, if I get any of these other ones, I can break them down because I already got 3 of them. We're running the Herald link. Yeah, we're doing a bunch of Herald stuff. I've opened enough of that pack. I guess I could open up this pack on the off chance that I'll need the Molt Charmies at some point, or that people will want me to play the Ashened. Why not wait for the anniversary Fiendsmith? I mean, I'm making it on Thursday because I got to practice it then. Is the new pack going to be out by then? No, we don't know yet. Fuelos? Drytron? Yeah, maybe. Skibberdussy Phantom Tax. My ad is Skibberdussy Phantom Tax. And there's a lot of looks I haven't maxed. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. What event? Yeah, the event is over. Otherwise, we'd be playing it today. Have I done all the challenges? Yes. Did they add a new one? I feel like they, I thought they added one every month. Was Immortal Skeleton this month, or did they not add one in January? Oh, I already did it. Okay. I guess while we're here, chat, we can... I don't want to open the packs today, but we can at least decide on the accessories. The question is, what deck box fits Melodious? Maybe the fusion one? What do they got in the shop? King Sark, light. Could get the light. They are entirely a light deck. but I feel like the fusion fits better. Because not only is the purple for the fusion, but it's like a lot of their monsters are just purple in general. Take a look at the list. If I'm not on the thing. Huh. They're playing like a whole voiceless voice engine and also Trickstars. I feel like that would distract too much. They're not playing any... The thing is, like, I don't want to play... Like, because this is the Melodious month, I don't want to play a Melodious list if it's not going to include, like, Aria and Elegy. Or at the very least, Aria. Like, if all it does is summon, like, maybe one of the fusions, then I'm not super interested. I feel like that distracts too much from what the deck's trying to do. Even if it ends on one of the fusions. Okay. Protector Case. Also known as Sleeves. Misjudged because she's judging the opera singing. Ooh, ah. And go with more purple. More purple. More purple. More purple. All the purples. Ixie Cup just for fun. Is there not a Melodious sleeve? I don't think so, but we'll see. Six Samurai, Bujin, Gen X, Mayakashi, Eldritch, Skull Servant, Ally of Justice, what are they called? They're Light Fiends, Fabled, Naturia, X-Sabers. Okay. Yeah, I'm saying probably Misjudge. Orchists are musical instruments. Let's see if there's any sleeves. Light and Darkness, Red Eyes, Ragnarika, Flower Cardian, Ubel, Centurion, Dragon Master Magia, Shadol Fusion, Sky Striker, Valmonica, I'm Seti, No Your Seti, Nightmare Magician, Tearlament, Trap Trick, Dark Magician Girl, Diabel, Albion, Firewall Dragon, Your Nose is Mine, Promethean Princess, Chaos Angel, Blackluster Soldier, the, what's it called? Galaxy Eyes, Arise Heart, Dragon Drive, Dark World, Trap Tricks. How come Trap Tricks get 2 sleeves? For Hire, Witchcrafter, Vernasil, another Tearlament. I understand why Tearlament gets 2 sleeves. They're like the most powerful deck of all time. Spirit Charmers, World Legacy, Kurikara, Sprite, Dinomorphia, Ghost Trick, Tri-Brigade, Runic Fountain, The Weather, Sky Striker again, Token Collector, Dragon Maids, Silver, Ash, Blue Eyes, Trish. Sarah was voted for in the OCG. Oh, okay. The Vernasil sleeves fit. Do they? The Vernasilfs are all about Earth. They don't sing, and they're not light, and they're not fairies. Some of them are fairies. I mean, they certainly got the pastel colors down. Yeah, Melodious just forgotten. The Dream Mirror is purple. I think Misjudge is what we're sticking on. They've got a purple one, but it's like dark. Could do the light sleeves. It's weird they're a light deck, but they just don't have that like light feel to them. Yeah, and I don't want to be like, Rika's are girls, the Melodious are girls. Let's give the girls sleeves. Nor do I want to be like, purple? Purple. Dual field. Is there one that's like a stage? Oh, there is, isn't there? It's probably the evil twin one. That's the closest. I'm surprised with all the, like, singing. I guess there's only a couple, but you thought there would. I think there would be one that's, like, set to be a stage between, like, Abyss actors and, what are they called? The girls who burn you that we also. I keep wanting to say Trap Tricks, but it's not Trap Tricks. Who was Blue Angel beforehand? Trickstar, yeah. And like the Symphonic Warriors and everything. Opera House of the Dogmatica. Yeah, this is kind of like a city, but it is also like they're being on TV. Let's go ahead and check again. Field. Yeah, I have almost all of them at this point. It's not the Earth-Arctic one. Ruins of the Sinful Spoils. Wraith Soth. Glacial World. Mutant Evolution Lab. Mount Sword Soul. Ritual Cage. It's the only, like, default one that I haven't gotten yet. Opera House sounds fun. We'll put it up to a vote. Let's see. Poll. Alright, chat. What field we using? Are we doing the evil twin? Because it's kind of like a stage? Are we doing the Dogmatica? Because it's kind of like an opera house. I guess we could also have like a rooftop performance. That doesn't necessarily fit for the Melodious. Yeah, I think we'll just keep it to those two. Evil Twin or Dogmatica? Choose wisely. We'll choose the field parts based on that. The mate base. I guess that depends on what our mate is. Well, let's go ahead. Aria on here. Elegy here. Maestra in the middle. Just like we wrote it up. It'll be like the Beatles. There's so many gosh darn icons. Surely Melodious at least got an icon, right? He kind of looks like he's singing. So does Danger Bigfoot. Nope. Looks like Evil Twin is winning by 2 if you haven't voted. Ding Girsu? No. It's pointing at his head. I guess we can get the light thing. Yeah, that's really like the closest we get to someone who sounds like they're singing. Polyframe. We don't even use polymerization. Okay, mate, gramophone. Done. Easy peasy. Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that has to do with music or singing. Oh, whoops, and the wallpaper. The aromas are mostly girls. Purple fusion, abyss actors. Actors, opera, they've got pendulums. Okay, looks like Dogmatica is winning by 3 now. Can't believe Melodious has 0 accessories. I know, right? Okay, are there any other mates that might work? No. No other mates. We already went through the fields, the protectors. Oh, the icon frames. Birds, brain control. Nope. Mate base. Barrier of the voiceless voice looks kind of like a stage. O for opera. Polymerization. So like we don't even use, we fuse, but we don't even use polymerization. Got 10 seconds. Evil Twin is down by 1. 2 votes could change it. Oh, and Dogmatica got another one. Going to the Opera House, baby. Okay, so we're singing in the Opera House, which means we want the pretty doilies. Those are fancy. Just to give a little artistic flair. And then we've got the whatchamacallit. We got the record player. What do we put it on? I think we do go O for opera. We have to buy at least one accessory, chat. How else are you supposed to live your life next to mine? Or how else are you supposed to live vicariously through my purchases? Oops. There, I've almost got every letter. I got hero, but not hero. Also, why does Destiny Hero get 2 Ds? Gee, Billy. Oh, did we look through the wallpapers? Verudrus. Ties that bind. Oh, it's Gold Sark. Okay. Hello, Tenpai. There's the Masochist one. Raid Raptor. Like, Dark Hole Dragon gets its own wallpaper, but not a single thing for Melodious. Yeah, I think the Abyss Actor's probably the best one. Even Nemlaria got its own icon. Sengen Summoning got an icon, and it's just a block of wood. Yeah, I do like, what was it, if you get the called by with the Ragnarika? Or is it with the skull? The other skull. 1 second. The Skull Servant's the newest one. You get that, and it's like, think, Spider-Man, think! Ah! Is that really the best we got? Yep, probably. We just gotta pretend the old man is singing. Not a single music-related one. Surprised Baka isn't one, yeah. And with that, chat, I think that's about everything I wanted to do today. We're gonna save the pack openings for next time. Although I guess if you want to, we can open up some legacy packs. You want to open some legacy packs? Yeah, because I have about 15 minutes left in what I normally do on the stream, but even with the commentary taking up like the first hour, we just got through it really quick because Melodious isn't going to take that much testing. It's fairly simple. I feel like I kind of got it. And there's not a whole lot of variety, so we didn't have to spend a whole lot of time learning it. Just not a whole lot to do with Melodious. Which, I mean, to be fair, after White Forest, where we had like 3 very separate decks with completely different play styles, it'll be nice to have something where most of our choices are like, what tech cards do we have to play? Oh no, we're skipping this. Well, I got my 3rd Mist Valley Thunderlord. I got my 6th Jinzo, the Machine Menace. 2 United We Stand. 2 Berserker Soul. And nothing else of use. Magical Contract Gate. Add 1 spell card from your hand to your opponent's hand. Then search a 7 or 8 dark monster. There's an orchestra icon. There is. I got my 8th Junk Warrior, but this one's shiny. 2 Vanities Ruler. One day I'll be degenerate. Playset of Judgment of the Pharaoh. Driven Daredevil. A new card! I got a new Desert Locust. I've opened up 1,000 of these packs, and there's still SRs I don't have. Neko Main King. And I got that DDD that is used to lock people out of stuff. Oh, I didn't have a camera clops until now? I thought I got that for my cube. And double magical arm bind. I wonder how long it'll be before I open these and get 0 new cards. I mean, we're almost there. I got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. I opened 100 cards and 4 of them are new. Okay, 1 second. Someone says there's an orchestra icon. Is it one I already own? Or is it an orchest icon? Because Orchestrion doesn't, like, look like anything. And Longirsu's just like a guy. And Dingirsu looks like a big robot. If there was like a harp horror where it looked like an instrument, like maybe I could see that. Zoom in on a Orchestrion? I can't. This is as far as I can get. Or as close as I can get. Zoom, enhance. We really can't do that. I saw it on CSI. Yeah, that's fictional. We don't actually do that. All right, well, chat, if there's anything you want to chat about, I mean, you are the chat. That's what you do. We got about 10 more minutes. I could just go home early. Can I get off early, boss? But I'm willing if people want more entertainment, if there's nothing you want to talk about. Is the Called By guy Joe's mascot because Called By beats Maxi? No. So, do you like jazz? I could never really get into, like, actual jazz. But there are quite a few songs that are, like, jazz adjacent. They're, like, light jazz. Jazz with, like, rock elements that I enjoy. You want to listen to some jazz, chat? Jazz adjacent? Here, 1 second. We'll put this on. For everyone watching on YouTube, see you later. Good luck. Have fun. I don't think I can play that.